Hey, I'm Jessie. Welcome. This is going to be a really short 15-minute quick yoga fix, middle of your day. If you only have 15 minutes, that's what this is for, just to help you feel a little bit better. Let's do it. You don't need any props, anything at all. I'm using my yoga mat because I find it's really comfy to sit on, but you can do this sitting on your living room floor. You don't even need your mat, so whatever is a barrier to you practicing, try to remove that hair. Clothes just have to be comfortable enough to move in. It doesn't have to be your yoga clothes. All right. I'm sitting cross-legged. If you are able to sit cross-legged, I want you to start off there. If not, you can have your legs straight. It doesn't really matter. We're just going to get some movement happening here in the spine. You're going to hold on to your legs, palms down or maybe behind the knees, and start to circle your rib cage around your pelvis. So just moving. You can use your hands just to help you a little bit with pulling or leaning onto them, whatever gives you a sense of getting a little more stability as you do this. And then wherever it makes sense for you to pause, you're going to change direction and keep going with those circles. Return yourself back through center, back through neutral, sitting up tall. Bring your left hand down beside you, reach your right arm out, palm's going to face the left, and start to arc over to the left. And help yourself back upright. That right hand then comes down by your right hip, left hand up, palm facing the right, and start to arc to the right. Lengthen that whole left side of your body. And return yourself back to upright. Help yourself up onto hands and knees. From hands and knees, you're going to draw your toes together, knees hip distance apart. Send your hips back towards the heels. Keep your chest up here for a moment. Thread the needle. You're going to take your right arm, reach it all the way through to the left side, palm up. And maybe you can actually lower your body down so you end up more on your right shoulder, right side of your head. And if you can't quite do that, you use your left hand however you need to support that. And help yourself back up. Let's switch sides. Left hand is going to reach all the way through to the right side, palm up. Maybe you can lower yourself to that left side of your head, left shoulder. And again, help yourself back upright. And then come on up, tabletop, hands and knees. Step your right foot up around the outside of your right wrist. And you can, from there, start to move your pelvis forward. You still want to keep contact with your right heel on the floor, so if you have to move the foot further forward, that's okay. Go ahead and do so. Pause here. You might want to let your pelvis roll a little bit from side to side. You might want to open your right leg out to the right side. You might even want to drop down onto your elbows, all your choice, just based on what feels good to you, what feels like it's needed. And then gently you're going to help yourself back so that your left hip comes back over your left knee. Wiggle that right foot closer to the midline. If your hamstrings are a little tight, keep that knee bent and keep the toes pointed more. Or you can start to look for more stretch by drawing the toes up and straightening the knee. Send your chest forward to keep your spine as long as possible. Maybe you want to add some movement here. I like rotation. So if you think about rotating right up at your right hip, that'll turn your whole leg. The knees and the toes will angle a little more in and then a little more out. And that might help you to fine tune to pick out one spot that you need this more than anywhere else. Help yourself back, shift forward, step that right leg back. We'll switch sides, left leg forward. And then again, you want to find a position for that foot that works for you. Both hands on the inside of that left foot. Let your pelvis lunge forward. And then from there, it's your choice. Maybe again, you want to move to the outside edge of the foot, let the knee tip off to the side. Maybe you want to move your pelvis. Maybe you want to drop down onto your forearms. So whatever suits you, whatever you need, whatever your body calls you to do, that's exactly what you're going to do. We are all different. We've all had a very different day. We all have different needs from our yoga practice. And if you've only got 15 minutes, you want to make sure that you're doing everything that is best for you. Good, nice and gentle. You're going to help yourself back so that your right hip becomes back over your right knee. Move your left foot closer to the midline, hand on either side of the leg. You can use blocks here if you find that you can't reach the ground. That is really helpful. You can have the knee more bent, or you can start to draw the toes up straight in the knee. Continuously think of tailbone back and chest forward, so the longest spine that you could in this shape. And maybe add that bit of rotation movement of the leg. Beautiful. Gently, you're going to rebend that knee and get that leg back underneath you so you're back to your tabletop. Set your hands just about shoulder distance apart. If you find that your shoulders are a little tight, sometimes turning your hands out can help a little bit with that. Feel free to add it. Tuck your toes and send your hips up and back. So our first time doing a downward facing dog, maybe at all today. So things like pedaling out your feet or twisting around through your hips or shaking out your head can all be ways that help to make this pose a little bit more accessible in the beginning. Continuously think of push to send your hips up and back. Nice. Walk your hands back to your feet. Separate your feet to about hip distance. Bend your knees if you need to. We're going to do a ragdoll forward fold here. Try to rest your upper body, your torso on your legs. Let your head hang, maybe even shake it a little to make sure you're not holding any tension. And you can have your hands on the ground, or maybe you want to put a hand in the crease of the opposite elbow for a little more intensity into that hang. Couple deep breaths. And then move slowly here. You're going to bring your hands to your knees. Start slowly uncurling your spine, working yourself up to standing. Take your time. And once you do get yourself all the way up, draw your shoulders down and back, lift your chest. Good. Couple pieces here through our upper body, through our arms. Bring your hands up, interlace your fingers on the top of your head. Hands are just resting heavy here. Reach your right elbow up towards the ceiling and the left elbow to the ground. And then come on back up through center. Same thing the other way. Left elbow up towards the ceiling, right elbow down towards the ground. And come on back through center. One or two more each side of those. Maybe you're like me and you feel like moving sort of in and out of that stretch, or maybe you feel like going to one side and holding it, and then the other side and then holding it. Your choice. Come on back through center, finishing up there. Release the hands. And let's take a wide step. You can turn to the side of your mat if you're using a mat. Take a fairly wide step. Your shoulders are just slightly outside of your feet are slightly outside of shoulder distance, not so much wider than that. Draw your palms to the center of your chest. Goddess pose. Start to squat down. Keep your spine as vertical as possible. Think of widening your knees as you go. And then stand up, come up onto your toes, reach your arms up. And do it again. Palms together, chest tall, squat down. And stand up, reach up. One last time, palms together, hands down through the center of the chest. Widen the knees as you sit. Stay here. So bringing a little bit of circulation happening into our body is really going to help our brain to focus a little bit better through the rest of the day. And again, stand yourself back up. Release those arms back down to your sides. Step the legs together. Feet can be touching, depends kind of on you. Some people, their feet touch and their knees don't. Other people, their knees touch and then their feet don't. But your legs are somewhat together. Move your weight into your left leg. Soften your right knee. And then keep your pelvis nice and still. Start moving your right leg. You can open it off to the side and come back a couple of times. The next time you open it off to the side, keep it there. It won't point straight to the side of your mat. Probably will point on an angle somewhat forward. You can rest your heel against your ankle, or you could rest your foot against your calf. If you want to go higher than that though, use your hand to bring that foot all the way up to the inner thigh. Think about squeezing your foot to your leg and your leg to your foot. You can join your palms at the center of your chest, especially if you're struggling a little bit today with your balance. Keep it at that level. If your balance feels really good, maybe reach your arms up. You can spread your fingers, you can reach index finger and thumbs together. You might want to bring your hands together. So there's all kinds of variations. And then just as controlled as you came here, you're going to come back out. Turn that right knee forward and step the foot back down to the floor. Let's switch. Move your weight onto your right leg. Shouldn't see any change happening in your body as you do that. Your left heel lifted up and find that movement in your left hip. Leg out, leg in, just waking those muscles up. And then the next time your leg stays out, you can keep it there. Maybe you choose to keep your heel against your ankle, your toes on the ground. Maybe you choose to put your foot against your calf. Or maybe you want to go a little higher than that and bring your foot right up to your inner thigh. Either way, your choice. Palms at center of the chest if you like, or arms reach up. And try to keep your toes relaxed. Their job is not to grab the ground for dear life. Let them spread. And let there be some amount of movement in this tree pose. Balance is dynamic. You're not going to be totally still here. You're going to be moving slightly. One more breath. And then again, come out of it with control, turning that left leg forward and step the foot back down to the floor. Last piece here, our Malasana squat. You can choose a distance for your feet, for yourself, whatever version you like. I'm going to choose kind of shoulder distance apart, a wider version of Malasana squat. Bring your hips down towards your heels. If you need a block under your heels to give a little bit of support, that's okay. If you can be here and join your palms, you're going to do that. So fantastic lengthening pose for just those last little few vertebrae above our pelvis. It's a very grounding posture, helps us to relax some of our pelvic floor muscles. Nice. And then from here, lower yourself the rest of the way back down to the ground. Let's turn around and come to lie on your backs. Once you get there, hug your knees in towards your chest. You can add a little bit of rock here if it feels good. Maybe side to side, maybe forward and back. One more thing here that we're going to do together, we're going to do a twist, a simple twist here, where you open your arms off to the sides, palms up. Keep the knees hugged in towards the chest and let them lower all the way over to the right. Let them come to a rest, so if that means you want to hold them or the legs shift slightly lower, that's okay. And maybe you choose a restful version of this pose where you're not doing a whole lot other than being here. Or maybe you choose to actively try to turn your rib cage back to the left. You could even turn your chin to look over your left shoulder. Nice. Draw the legs back up to center. And we'll switch sides. Carry the legs all the way over to the left. And let them come to rest, whether that means they have to be a little bit lower or higher, or you hold them, all of it is fine. And maybe you choose to stay right where you've landed, or maybe you are active, trying to turn your rib cage to the right, maybe your chin towards the right shoulder.
nice and gentle, draw those legs back through center. Hug them in one last time, adding in any little bit extra movement that you need here to feel complete. And then release it. You could extend your legs long down the length of your mat if that's comfortable for you, or maybe keep your knees bent and your feet on the floor. Pause, just for a moment here. Breathe through your nose. And breathe in a way that you are intending to send your breath a little lower. The sides of your rib cage, your low back, and your belly all move. Taking this as a quiet moment. Let there be some clarity here in your mind. Taking a break can bring a whole lot of clarity to us, can help to re-inspire us both creatively and to get tasks done either way. Getting the blood circulating helps our brain, moving our body helps to reignite those creative juices. Take one full controlled breath here all together. Inhale and fill the space of your abdomen, the sides of your ribs, your chest. Fill your lungs as full as you possibly could. And then through your mouth, exhale it. Like a sigh, release all of that air, and at the end even push out the last bit of used air with your abdomen. And then let your breath return back to just neutral and easy. Start to gently move, wiggle, stretch. And take your time to do it. Bend your knees and curl yourself over onto your side. And then you can return yourself from there the rest of the way back up to seated. And we will sign off here. You can join your palms, bring your thumbs to the center of your chest. Thank you so much for joining me for this quick work break, getting your blood pumping, your brain a little more clear and calm. I hope it helped. Namaste.